culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on the Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. What's up, co-reporters? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here on such last minute. Hello, Mic Squad. Feel free to drop a microphone. Let me know you're in here and that everything is going smoothly. You can hear me. I'm moving fine and everything like that. We really have to talk about this James Kennedy story. First of all, my darling co-reporters, I do have to ask you, were you surprised when you heard the news that he got arrested for DV? Or was it kind of a moment where you were like, finally, women have been saying this for years now, that there is something wrong with him, that behind the scenes, he is an absolute terror to women. He, even in front of the scenes, we've seen him be an absolute terror to women. Oh, you know what, Cynthia, I'm so sorry about this Nightbot thing. I actually have to go and turn it off. I don't know why it's always antagonizing people. And people still allowed for James to continue to carry on and to get some shine. And now he has finally caught a charge for what many people have been saying over the years about him. I really am I'm floored. You know, not in a surprise way. I am definitely not surprised, but I am floored that it has finally come to this. Like Babsy is saying, he has kind of been portraying this image as someone who's changing, evolving, and whatnot. But that apparently is not the truth, because if it were the truth, he would not have been caught up with this charge. This is some serious business, okay? And we are going to get into the article, the news that broke about him being arrested. We're going to go into all the women who have accused him over the years of DV. And there are several women, some of them you already know off the top of your head, but there have actually been other women that maybe you didn't know about, who have nothing to do with Vanderpump Rules. They are in the Bravo universe, but not in the Vanderpump Rules stratosphere. Okay, you guys, thank you all so much for being here. Hi, Toddler Mommy. It's nice to see you. Toddler Mommy's been here since like the beginning, so it's really cool to see you here again as well. And again, Cynthia, so sorry about the bot. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. There's nothing wrong with your comments. Feel free to continue leaving comments. So some of you guys are saying that you think that he's relapsed. I really don't know. I personally feel like this is just who he is. James Kennedy hates women. Go back, rewatch the show. I'm actually rewatching, and I'm on season 5 right now. He hates women, the way he speaks to women, the way he degrades women, the way he speaks about women, the way he treats women. He hates us. He despises us. So I think that this is just who he is at his core. Hi, Dee. So I'm so sad to hear this. I was hoping for him to turn his life around. It really seems as though so many of us, or so many people, thought that this man was finally going to get his wake-up call. But it's just like the way he was during Vanderpump Rules, right? How many chances did Lisa Vanderpump give this man? How many? Did he ever truly change? No, she had to fire him from her restaurants a million times over. I'm sorry, but this is just an apple that is rotten to its core. I do believe that there's something in him that like is fighting against just a wicked spirit. You know, I don't think he's 1,000% bad, but I think that a good portion of him is bad. And there's a small sliver that is fighting against it, but it's losing that battle. And it has been losing that battle over several years. You know, it's sad to see, you know, and like, especially when you watch the latest season of the show, how he's been begging Allie, his girlfriend. They've been together almost 3 years now. He's been begging her for marriage, for kids, the whole works. And this girl has seen things. She won't admit it, but she has seen some things. She has seen some dangerous behavior from this man, and other women have spoken out on her behalf about this. She never has, but other women, and we're going to get into that, have spoken out about it, right? I just, and she doesn't want to marry him because she knows, and she's seen it for herself that he's not good. He's very volatile, and he is very, in my opinion, dangerous. Now, let's get into the article. Shout out to TMZ for breaking this story about James Kennedy's arrest. They're saying that he was arrested for misdemeanor DV. Their law enforcement sources tell them that Burbank, California police were dispatched to a home in that area Tuesday night after receiving a call about an argument between him and a woman. Let's not play dumb here. The woman would obviously have to be Allie, right? We're told a witness saw Kennedy and the woman arguing, with the reality star allegedly grabbing her at one point, though we're told officers did not see any visible injuries on her. It's worth noting Kennedy and his girlfriend Allie appeared to attend a holiday party at Kathy Hilton's home the night of the arrest. After investigating the situation, police say they determined it was a domestic incident, leading to the DJ being arrested for misdemeanor domestic violence. Sources say that Kennedy was released after posting $20,000 bail. The Burbank charges. He and Allie have been dating since January of 2022. So again, it's going to be 3 years, like within a couple of weeks here, right? They've been together for quite a while now. Now, they're not naming her as the victim or anything like that, but I just want to tell you why I'm saying it's her anyway, because it is a DV charge. If you get a DV charge, it means that you are suspected to have committed an act, a violent act against someone who you are either related to or cohabitating with. And the only person that I know of this man living with is Allie. They've been living together for about 1.5 years now, right? And they went to that party together. So all signs point to the alleged victim being her. And not only that, but I do want to remind you guys that when TMZ was reporting on Nikki Bella and Artem's situation, they didn't initially name Nikki Bella as the victim. They said that Artem caught a DV charge, over some mystery woman. And I'm sorry, but let's stop insulting people's intelligence here. We all know who these people are intimately linked to, right? So I'm just going to, for the purposes of clarity and everything, I'm just going to go ahead and say that it was Allie. Okay. Now, before we continue on in this story, I first have to say that I really, really, truly hope that she is doing okay. I feel encouraged when I read in the article that there were no visible marks on her or anything like that. And she's a woman with very light skin. So I feel like, if it were a really, really, horrid thing, it would be visible on her, So, thank goodness, first of all, but emotionally speaking, psychologically speaking, I hope she's doing okay in those regards as well. And April, yeah, I think that's why I said misdemeanor. It doesn't look like there was any major, damage. I guess there was some grabbing involved, but nothing like super duper egregious to warrant a felony charge, apparently. But listen, charges can be upgraded down the line, right? Like they start off one way and then they can end up going another way. Now, this would not be the first time that that James Kennedy is accused of DV, and it's not even the first time he's been accused of DV against Allie. A certain woman from the housewives world has accused him of that in the past. But let's start off with the first woman who ever accused James Kennedy of having these violent tendencies, shall we? None other than Kristen Doute, okay? She dated James in the past, and we all saw how volatile and toxic that relationship was. We saw him repeatedly cheat on her, verbally, degrade her, lie and cheat, gaslight her, and just treat her like overall garbage. He was sick. And again, I just recently completed a rewatch of the first 4 seasons. I'm midway through season 5. The mind games that this man played on this woman were sickening. It's very clear he does not like women. It's very clear that he's grappling inside himself with something. And, the fact that he can't, come to terms with something about himself makes him hate women, in my opinion. Okay. So you really saw that in the way he treated Kristen. It was dirty. He treated her like he despised her, and it just made no sense why he was even romantically involved with her. So she also personally has accused him of hitting her. Do you guys remember when the two of them went to that wedding? There was this famous scene of him, calling her a slut, a whore, all sorts of things, just verbally abusing her, right? And then she has had enough. She keeps asking him to get out of her face, leave her alone, and he refuses. He just keeps on amping up the verbal attacks against her. Well, according to Chris, and then we see her punch him, snap and punch him. According to Kristen, that's not really the reason why she did that. She has said that in a moment that was not aired on the show, James actually got physical with her. And she was responding to that in addition to the verbal accosting that she was receiving. So there you go. That was the first ever allegation of him getting physical with a woman. I just want to get a temperature check, or should I say a mic check, mic check, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let me know in the chat, or if you were part of the playback posse watching this a little bit later after we've already gone live, let me know. Did you hear these rumors that Kristen only punched James because he had already punched her, and that they cut the clip of him punching her and kept her reaction to that? Did you hear about that? I'm just going to take a look. Yeah, you know what else it is? Not only am I used to talking about David, I have to talk about him again because something to do with like an ankle monitor after the Janelle stuff. I said, oh gosh, I'm going to do that in tomorrow's morning report. Okay. Jaleesa says that she always believed Kristen. And thanks so much for joining us again, Jaleesa. You were just here for the morning report. So it's nice to see you again. Deborah says James was garbage to Kristen. You know what he's grappling with. And so do I. It looks like we are on the same wavelength. Is he still with the girlfriend? I don't know if they're still together as of now because she is the rumored victim of what allegedly went down there. Okay. So, some of you are saying that you have seen the rumors, right? Some of you are shocked. Some of you say that James has always been this way. And I agree with you, Melaine, about hoping that Allie does not stay with him. Here's the thing. I got to be honest. I never got the vibe that Allie genuinely liked this guy. I felt like she was tolerating him for the opportunity to put her brand, her face out there to become an influencer or a singer or whatever. And I feel like if that is the case, you already barely like this guy, and it really showed. You never saw sparkle in her eyes. You saw irritation in her eyes whenever this man, and I don't blame her. The man is, I couldn't tolerate him for more than 2 minutes myself. Even 2 minutes is being generous, okay? But if you were already feeling that way, now this stuff is happening repeatedly, you gotta go. It's not worth it. We've seen your face. We've heard your struggle songs already, girl. You can go ahead and continue to build your name on your own, okay? Now, thank you guys so much for that mic check. Now, let's talk about the next girl who has accused James Kennedy. We all know her. Most don't love her after the stuff that she pulled on the latest season of the show, or season 10, Rachel Levis. Rachel Levis filed a lawsuit against Bravo. And in that lawsuit, she made some very, very serious allegations against James Kennedy. She said that he had gone buck wild at a family dinner at her parents' house and kicked the family dog, not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times. Did you guys read that lawsuit that she filed against Bravo, and how she slipped that in there? She said that every single person on the cast knows that James is violent and that he is violent against women. And right up from Lisa to Andy Cohen to the Toms to everybody, She said that they all know and they all cover for him. And then she also corroborated Kristen's story about James allegedly getting physical with her before she punched him at that wedding. She says that did happen and that it got cut from the show, and that Kristen was talking about it. She was going on some kind of not a publicity tour, but a press tour, talking about how terrible James is. And then they decided to shut her up by putting her on The Valley as a spinoff so that she could stop talking about James and how terrible he is, because they wanted to keep him on Vanderpump Rules. Those were the serious allegations that Raquel was making in her lawsuit. So now that is 2 women who have accused him of being violent. Okay. And not only that, but we also saw, it was downplayed on the show, that when she got her nose job, her nose was becoming crooked. So she went to Lisa Vanderpump. Lisa Vanderpump took her to Dr. Paul Nassif, and she said, hey, listen, there was a moment where James Kennedy bumped my nose. And it felt like she kind of like said, oh, like we were supposed to be kissing or something like that. Like she made it sound innocuous, but like it felt like deep down she wanted to say that, like, you know, he was getting like aggressive with her or something. And then, you know, there was one thing led to another and her nose was bumped. But she stopped short of that. Do you guys remember that story? And do you now, with this charge against him coming out, do you now, do you see it in a different light? You know, when you've got the arrest featuring one woman, you've got an allegation featuring another woman, and now this allegation featuring another woman, and then you think to all the times you saw him become incredibly aggressive against women on the show, is it not adding up that something really has been happening here? Granted, in James Kennedy's defense, the doctor did say that it appeared as though the nose just did not heal properly. And that's why it's slightly crooked. You know, I will tell you guys, I got a nose job too. And this has been bothering me a lot recently. I don't think you can tell, but I can. This side is a little wonky. It's slightly wonky, but like, you know, if you're staring at yourself a lot, you know that it's wonky. So sometimes it just doesn't heal properly. You know, you get these things done. They tell you to sleep on your back for as long as possible. But if you're not someone who's used to sleeping on your back, then you start to sleep on your side. That can happen, right? So the doctor did say that it was either botched or the aftercare was not properly followed or something. And that is why it turned out to be this way, to be leaning more towards this way. Okay. Now, let's see what else she was accusing him of. Okay. She also says, like, this is a direct quote from her lawsuit, by the way, you guys. So I'm going to just take down this comment so that I can go ahead and read the full statement that Raquel made in her lawsuit against James, accusing him of being violent. She says that, listen, I believe what Kristen has said about James. I've seen him be a violent person, so I have no doubt that what she's saying is true. I hope that one day it'll come to light and there will be justice. Quick question, guys. Does Raquel still have her podcast, Rachel Goes Rogue podcast? Because if she does, I just know that she is going to have a field day spilling the beans. In fact, let me go ahead, whip out my phone and subscribe to that podcast because I want to know what she's about to say about him. You know, like maybe she's been trying to like keep things quiet and whatnot just because, you know, she's concerned about her lawsuit and everything like that. But now that this charge has been pressed and levied against him, maybe she will be open to speaking out. I'm seeing that she doesn't have it anymore. No. Hi, May. It's looking like it is Allie. It's Allie. I'm talking about Raquel because she in the past has accused James of being violent as well. Rachel Goes Rogue. Are you sure she stopped? Oh, you're right. She stopped this in January. That was a very short-lived podcast. I'm very disappointed that she's not continuing. But listen, perhaps Kristen Doute is going to be speaking out about this. I believe she too has something going on. Or maybe she'll talk about it on The Value. I don't know. But that definitely is there. Now, there was an incident that was captured on video featuring James's aggressive nature. Do you remember when Radar Online published a video of James getting kicked out of some sort of a beach bar? Sheena was there, Brock was there, Allie was there, and Rachel/Raquel was there as well. James has gotten belligerent, as he typically does. And he was asked to leave, even though he was initially invited there to DJ. And you just see him going ham, insulting people, insisting that Allie follow him out. And Allie did not want to leave with him. And then Sheena gets involved to try and kind of like stick up for Allie and just be there for her, like as a buffer. And Brock also gets involved trying to be a buffer as well. And James just gets more and more agitated as more and more people chime in. Rachel Raquel pops up. I don't know why, y'all. I guess she just wanted a piece of the action and just to be in James's face. And all of that has kind of just, erupts when Allie continues to refuse to go with James. And what does James do? He shoves her towards his car. He's like, come on, let's go, Allie. And he starts shoving her towards the car. So that video is something that came out where you really do see some of his like kind of aggressive nature. Not that we even needed it, because most of it was already exhibited on Vanderpump Rules. He was screaming at women. He was verbally abusing them. He was spitting on their property, all sorts of terrible things, right? He was cheating and gaslighting, all sorts of things. Now let's get into the other people outside of the Vanderpump universe who have spoken out against James Kennedy and accused him of violence. Starting with Teddy Mellencamp. Sorry. So Teddy Mellencamp, when she was on her 2 T's in a Pod podcast with Tamra Judge, she had some very spicy things to say about James Kennedy. Namely, that she and Tamra shared a car with James and Allie. She said that they were on their way to an after party at Tom Tom. And during that car ride, there was an altercation between the 2 people in the car, so James and Allie, which made for her to have to get out of the car because it was just way too much. Okay. And so this was something that really took over the Bravo universe. People were talking a lot about it. Allie went on Sheena's podcast to address the situation and everything like that. And of course, Allie denied it. Okay. Allie says, no, sorry, that's not true. There was never a physical altercation. She did admit though that there was an argument in the car, but that they were having fun that night overall. And then she says that Teddy and Tamra did not have to get out of the car and separate them. That did not happen. And that's all I'll say on that. So to me, the fact that she admits that there was some sort of a fight in the car, I will say this, having been a victim to my friends' domestic disputes. They're not violent in front of me anyway. But they have been like very, very tough to be around. I've talked about this in the past to my channel members and whatnot. But I've been on 2 really, really bad vacations with friends. One was in the south of France, and there was this couple that just fought over everything at all times. And the guy would just verbally abuse my friend. He would just call her all sorts of names. He would tell her she was stupid, she was this, she was that, like that, and literally screaming over nothing. She could ask to go to a pharmacy, and the pharmacy would still be far off enough where you can go in, pull over and let her go to get her medication because she's feeling sick. And the guy would just scream at her like, why do you even need this? Why didn't you come with any medication? Oh my God, you're never prepared. You're so dumb. That type of stuff, like that. And then when I went to Barcelona, my friends, they got into it so bad. One of them jumped out of the car in the middle of traffic, you guys. And this was at like 3-4 in the morning. Like I've been through this type of stuff. And these people, they downplay it because to them, it's normal to behave that way. But for you as a bystander, a well-adjusted bystander, that stuff can be really like traumatizing, So personally, to me, the fact that Allie confirms that there was an altercation, but she downplays the severity of it, I gotta say, I believe what Teddy said. I do. Just having been witness to these really, 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 really terrible fights between, lovers and whatnot. Like, I think that to them, because they're used to fighting in this very, very horrific way, it's normal. But like to those of us who are taken aback by this, who have never witnessed this, like it's bad, it's brutal, and it makes you uncomfortable to the point where you want to leave, and I've definitely been there. And yeah, all of the Teddy Mellencamp slander, and you know what, she deserves it, especially now with that affair she was having with the horse trainer. Trash. So if you are just joining us, first of all, thank you so much for being here. We are talking about Vanderpump Rules star James Kennedy being arrested for misdemeanor DV. And although his alleged victim has not been named, it is safe to say and to assume, in my opinion anyway, that that victim or alleged victim is his live-in girlfriend, Allie Weber or Weber. So, I will continue to keep you guys updated as more information comes out. But for now, that is all I've got on the situation. So make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already so that you do not miss any updates about this situation. Deborah, you were right. Now I only have like a small, amount of friends I will travel with. And my new thing is I will not travel with couples anymore. Absolutely not. Like there's so many couples that you think are perfectly normal and happy, and then you travel with them and you're like, oh, I didn't know y'all were abusive. Okay. Now, let's get into the final other woman who has accused James Kennedy of violence, shall we? That is none other than Emily Simpson from RHOC. And I do want to clarify that she never specifically said that she had any kind of, and by the way, I am going to go ahead and drop an invite link in case any of you guys want to speak out about James Kennedy or this situation. It will be in the comment section of this chat. So let me go ahead and put that here as I get into the final woman who has spoken out about James Kennedy and his alleged violence, shall we? So that is none other than Emily Simpson from the Real Housewives of Orange County. Emily Simpson, she never said that she witnessed anything about James Kennedy, but she did say, okay, and mind you, she is an attorney. She said, where there's smoke, there's fire. You can only have so many allegations all the time before there has to be some truth rooted in these. You can't just have all these different accusations and they are all just fabricated. And I have to say that I agree with Emily Simpson 110%. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Look at how Diddy's situation turned out. There has been smoke about that for several years, for decades now, right? I'm sorry, but look at Jay-Z. He's starting to go down too. There's been some smoke about him for years as well. There are other people out there too where there's been some smoke about them and their stuff is coming out soon. Harvey Weinstein, there had been rumors about him forever, right? So where there's smoke, there is fire. Granted, sometimes people make up rumors, but when it's this much, and then when you already have had your abuses of women televised in a verbal form, in an emotional form, and in an infidelity form, it's very, very easy for people to just go ahead and say, you know what, this might just be who you are at this point. And I want to be, I want to go on the record and say, I believe this 110%. And I do believe everybody else who has come out with allegations against James Kennedy. I believe Kristen Doute. I believe Rachel Raquel. I believe Matt Mellencamp. I believe that Emily is right, that where there's smoke, there is fire. I believe all of this. Okay. Hi, Amertron. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just wrapping up now, but no worries. It is definitely going to be up for replay if you want to be a part of the playback posse. Don't worry. It's going to be available, but thank you so much for joining nonetheless. This truly has been so sad. It really is. It's sad to imagine what could have happened to Allie after attending that Christmas party. But I know that I think that she's a strong girl. I think she's a very smart girl. And I think that she's going to walk away from this, and it's not going to be easy, obviously, but I know that she's going to walk away, and I know that she's going to walk away better she's going to be better for it, having walked away from this. Okay. Deborah says they even made jokes about Harvey Weinstein on different sitcoms and on award shows. You see, and that's how these people get so emboldened. They know that everybody knows, but the fact that everybody knows and nothing happens to them for years and years on end, it allows them to continue to behave this way, thinking that nothing will ever happen to them until one day justice comes sweeping in and, and it happens, and they are served. And that's exactly what we've seen with Harvey Weinstein. And wasn't there a Kevin Spacey as well? And that's what we're seeing with Diddy. And now we're finally going to see this with James Kennedy. I do have to say, though, that I am concerned that these charges will be dropped. I'm not convinced that they are going to stick just because they are misdemeanor. They did also say that it was more so like a shoving sort of a thing. And they did say that there were no like physical marks on Allie. I don't see Allie wanting to cooperate with all of this. So I do think that these charges could eventually be dropped, if I'm being honest. And I do think that it kind of reminds me so much of Nikki, Bella, and Artem Chingvitsev, their situation, right? Like she did not want to cooperate. The charges got dropped. And unfortunately, when this happens, what do some people do? They act like the person was innocent all along when, no, sorry, this is par for the course with DV cases, right? That the alleged victim does not want to cooperate. It's not easy. It's not easy to get up there and testify. It's not, and so I'm not shocked when many of them back out. Mary says, this woman had all reason to keep quiet. As much bravo is for women. The men on the show are always protected, so they're talking. I believe them. So if they're talking, I believe them. Exactly. The men were always protected. Always. Look at how trash the Toms were. Look at how terribly they treated women. Look at James as well. Look at Jax. These are people who hate women. How many? 4. All 4 of them, they hate women. They hate women for varying reasons. But I think James is grappling with something on the inside, and that's why he hates women. I think that Sandoval is just a narc, and that's why he hates women and everyone. And Shorts is just a spineless weasel, and that's why he hates women. And Jax is just another one where, I don't know, maybe there's something inside of him. Yeah, I think he's just an evil spirit. I think that's why. Thank you so much for being here, Sandy. It's so great to have you here. Thank you all so much for joining and for sharing all of your thoughts and all of your opinions. As I mentioned earlier, I will continue to keep an eye on this story. If there's any new information that develops, I will make sure to let you guys know. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Listen, Mary, your English was perfect. Thank you so much for watching Desde Mexico. And I really hope to continue to see you around here. Your comments, your thoughts, your opinions have been really, really valuable to this chat. So thank you. Laura also thinks that these charges will be dropped. So yeah. Very disappointing, but you know what? Listen, the fact that there even were charges in the first place is a great thing, and it's a step towards accountability for James Kennedy. So I'm really happy to have at least seen that. Will a mugshot be released next? Here's hoping. Here's hoping. And again, thank you so much for picking up a wrench, toddler mommy, and for being here. So you guys, if you are part of the playback posse watching this back after us having gone live, don't worry, I still do come back and check out my regular comment section. You will not go unseen. So please continue to feel free to share your thoughts and your opinions on this entire situation, all the women who have spoken out against James Kennedy, and I will certainly be there to respond to your comments in the comment section. Okay, you guys? But in the meantime, take good care of yourselves, and I will see you in my next video. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.